بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا وإمامنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أما بعد. Moving on to athar number 38 on page 20. It states حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا عثام بن علي العامري قال سمعت الأعمش يقول ما سمعت إبراهيم يقول في شيء برأيه خط. Abu Khaythama narrates from Atham ibn Ali al-Amiri, who says that I heard A'mash saying, I've never heard Ibrahim giving any of his own views, giving a fatwa or answering a question with his own ra'i, meaning every time he answered a question it will be directly taken from the athar. So this athar, it shows us the virtue of this tabi'i, and it also goes to show us, or the main point, the etiquette for the student of knowledge is to base his statements, his positions off of the athar. As it's mentioned from Sufyan, whether it's Ath-Thawri or Ibn Uyayna, it says, إن استطعت أن لا تحك رأسك إلا بأثر فافعل. That you should do everything based off an athar, everything. Even if it's scratching your head. If you have the ability to avoid scratching your head, unless it's based off an athar, then that's what you should do. So the importance of basing one's da'wah off of values. And these values, first and foremost, should be the athar. Qala Rasulullah, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ did, said, allowed, approved. And from there, obviously, one branches off. The other types of adillah and the other types of understanding and using the adillah. خيرا إن شاء الله. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا ابن أيمن أو ابن يمان عن أشعث عن جعفر عن سعيد بن جبير يبخلون ويأمرون الناس بالبخل قال هذا من العلم. Says here, Abu Khaythama narrates from Ibn Yaman, who narrates from Ash'ath, from Ja'far, from Sa'id ibn Jubair, rahimahullah. He said in the tafsir of Surah An-Nisa, verse 37, يَبْخَلُونَ وَيَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبُخْلِ. Allah speaks about some individuals, يَبْخَلُون, says those who are cheap and stingy, miserly. وَيَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبُخْلِ. And not only are they miserly themselves, but then they tell the people to be miserly. They order the people to be miserly. They themselves are stingy, and they want others to be the same as well. He said this is pertaining to ilm, knowledge. So this athar from Sa'id ibn Jubair, it goes to show us the danger of being stingy, and the importance of being generous with your knowledge and to share what Allah Azza wa Jal has given you. As Musa alayhi salatu wasalam asked Al-Khadir, says, can I follow you so that you can give me some of what Allah has taught you? So the knowledge is only from Allah Azza wa Jal, the mighty and the most high. So let this be a reminder for the student of knowledge. Let this be something that you write on your headband. Let this be an inscription, an insignia. Let this be something that's on your dashboard, something that's on your refrigerator, a magnet, all of the time. When you wake up, when you go to sleep, don't be stingy. Be generous. Give more and more sadaqah. Have you given enough classes today? Have you answered enough questions today? Did you prepare the best way you could have for the khutbah? Did you remind the people, advise the people, your own family? Did you teach them? Did you give them da'wah? Were you aggravated and upset when someone asked you a question? You have to ask yourself this on a daily basis. خيرا إن شاء الله. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا جرير عن ليث قال كان أبو العالية إذا جلس إليه أربعة قامة. Narrated Jarir from Layth, who said that Abu al-Aliyah, who was from the Salaf al-Salih, whenever 4 people sat down with him, he would get up and walk away. He wouldn't allow himself to have a majlis, a circle more than 4 students. The point from this athar is to show us the fear of some of the Salaf al-Salih of having bad intentions. Some of them were afraid, and some of them were fearful to have foul intentions, and for a person's niyyah to be messed up, and for a person to show off and want to be seen and want to be heard and want to have followers. It's danger, or it's dangerous. It is a danger and it is dangerous. So some of the Salaf Salih were so fearful, so afraid, that they would go to the extreme. If they had more than 4 people, they would get up and walk away. As we have explained before, Abu al-Aliya is not the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, nor is he the Quran. His action is not the dalil, nor is it the dalil, or is it the fahm of the Salaf that everyone did this. Some of the Sahaba, some of the Tabi'een, all types of people sitting with them in their circles. So we do not abuse this athar, nor do we not understand it incorrectly or improperly and absolutely, and use it as a means of bullying our enemies and our opponents in an issue or in a discussion. This brother has thousands, if not millions, of followers on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter in person, so therefore he doesn't have good intentions. As they said, when they wanted to destroy a brother, they said he loves the chair. He loves the microphone. This is one of the points that we have against him. He loves the microphone. He loves to talk. Or someone commented on a video of mine once, and another brother said to a brother who said to me that, why do you always have to record yourself, Mufti or Muhammad ibn Munir? Why do you have to have a video camera? Why do you always need to be on tape? And he was mentioning this as a point of refutation. One of the reasons why you shouldn't study with Muhammad ibn Munir is because he records himself. So this is hubbul dhuhur, yani, loving for people to see you and hear you. And these miskeen people, unfortunately, they use the likes of this athar to support their points. And they don't understand, as we've explained before, what will you do with the Salaf al-Salih who had hundreds of people in their majalis, if not thousands, and they had the mustamli, 2 or 3 different mustamlis. A mustamli back basically is an old microphone. Is a person who stands hundreds of feet away from the speaker and conveys what he says to the next batch of people. So if you have 500 people sitting with you, everyone may not be able to hear your voice. So you would have someone in the middle of the circle, then a third, or depending on how big the majlis was, and that would be called a mustamli. What are you going to do with those athar? Now, let alone the fact that you yourself, you're speaking right now, and you're sitting in a chair refuting someone. So how about I say that you like the chair? Aren't you sitting in a chair? And you like the microphone. Aren't you speaking in a microphone, refuting someone? So this is a calamity, as we've explained before, that has befallen many people. And there were many shabab, many youth that had potential. And they lost their potential. And they lost their chance and their slim opportunity to go seek knowledge and benefit and bring it back to their communities. And not just because they didn't sit with me or with this brother. No. You don't have to study with us. We never encourage the people to study with us. We don't call the people to fanatically join us. No, it doesn't mean that. But that methodology and that understanding of that extreme fanaticism and that ghulu and that personality attack and personality worship, okay, that zombieism, if that's what you want to call it, zombieism, just being a zombie, a ghulati zombie, walking around, attacking people, biting people, innovator, mubtadi', he's a deviant, don't sit with him, he loves the chair, he loves the microphone, he's full of himself, Sheikh Fulan, the scholars. That zombie way of life, it is not productive. And most brothers, especially the youth, the shabab, who were kuffar, or who used to be just average Muslims, they were sinful Muslims, their parents migrated from another country, or whatever the case may be, most of them, and they get bit Okay, and they get infected by this zombie illness, this disease, this sickness. Most of them, 9 out of 10 of them, you find they don't have any success in their studies. They don't study well. They don't focus. They don't graduate. They drop out. All right, we can mention many names. There were many young brothers who came to Medina, and we tried to help those young brothers out. Give them classes, take them around, show them the ropes, be big brothers to them. We were older than them. We were in Medina before they were. We had graduated from the bachelor's program, and they were in the language program. Trying to help them out. Go out and eat with them, etc. So everything was good. And then one person got bit and infected, and another, and he bit him, and next time they were all zombies. Oh, we won't speak to him. We won't give him salams. He's an innovator. He's a deviant. He's with the likes of such and such, who's with the likes of such and such, who sits with the likes of such and such, who drinks tea with the likes of such and such, so therefore he has the ruling of the likes of fulan. And this is how they were infected in their first year or second year of studies. If you ask me right now, those brothers that were in my house or that were in the masjid that we were tutoring and mentoring, how many of them graduated? I could tell you maybe 1 or 2 out of a patch of them. All right? That whole understanding and practice is not conducive to seeking ilm. And as we said, it's not just about sitting with me. You don't have to be my friend or speak to me or be my student. But once you get inside of that zombie circle, your studies will suffer. And this is what they do. They use these athar against the people that they don't like, that they envy, that they differ with. As far as them, their speakers, their sheikhs, they're allowed to do whatever they want to do. And those athar don't apply to them. The fear and the danger of ikhlas and riyah and sum'ah, they don't apply to them. All right? They say, brother fulan, the women, they like him. That's why they watch him. But their speakers, do women not watch them? Do they not have women fans? Do women not want to marry them? Do they not run through women? Divorce, marriage, divorce, marriage, divorce, marriage. Almost mut'ah marriages. Do they not have them? That doesn't apply to them. Sufyan al-Thawri's speech, it doesn't apply to them. Sheikh Fulan, it doesn't apply to him. What Abu Aliyah, he would get up if they had more. It doesn't apply to them. And they use these things as a virtue. Fulan is a teacher in the Prophet's masjid. They say it doesn't mean anything. So what? Who cares? As long as Sheikh Fulan has made jarh of him, his seat in the masjid is of no use, of no value. But one of their scholars is a teacher in the masjid, that's the first thing that they say. He's a mufti in the masjid. Or a brother graduates and they say degrees don't mean anything. Master's degree doesn't mean anything. Doctor's degree doesn't mean anything. And then when they introduce a brother, when someone translates something or they have a speaker or conference, the first thing they say, our brother Fulan, who is a graduate from the Islamic University of Medina. I thought the degree didn't mean anything. So these people, not only are they blind and fanatical, but they are extremely hypocritical. And if you just sit down, and you don't have to be a scholar or a very smart person, but just sit down and use your head a little bit, you'll see the hypocrisy and the double standards that they apply over and over again. Whoever is with them, there are no rules. The moment you fall out of their favor, now Abu al-Aliyah, إِذَا جَلَسَ إِلَيْهِ أَرْبَعَةٌ قَامَ. When 4 people sat down with him, he would go and stand up. He have a big majlis, you're popular, okay, you're a deviant, you have to warn against you because you're opposing the Salaf al-Salih. And the same applies to one of their strongest doubts that they use of sitting with Ahlul Bid'ah. Don't go teaching the masjids of Ahlul Bid'ah. The Salaf is ijma', consensus. They never went with the innovators, they never spoke with the innovators, they never ate with the innovators, avoid Ahlul Bid'ah. But their sheikh was with Ahlul Bid'ah for how many years? How many years? Read his biography. How many years did he go out with the Ikhwan al-Muslimin? And guess what they say in the answer to that major contradiction? They say, oh, he was giving them da'wah. He was calling them to the truth. He was being patient upon them. But brother Fulan or Sheikh Fulan, he's not doing the same. They say, no, you're mingling with the innovators. Tukfir sawadahum, you're increasing their numbers. قال حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا الوليد بن مسلم قال حدثني عبد الله بن العلاء قال سمعت مكحولا قال كنت لعمر بن سعيد العاصي أو سعيد بن العاص فوهبني لرجل من هذيل بمصر فأنم علي بها فما خرجت من مصر حتى ظننت أنه ليس بها علم إلا وقد سمعته ثم قدمت المدينة فما خرجت منها حتى ظننت أنه ليس بها علم إلا وقد سمعته ثم لقيت الشعبي فلم أرى مثله رحمه الله. It's narrated by Al-Walid ibn Muslim, who reported from Abdullah ibn al-Ala, who said that I heard Makhul saying, and Makhul was from Sham. He says, كنت لعمر بن سعيد العاصي, or Sa'id ibn al-As. He says that I was a slave, I was a servant of Amr ibn Sa'id al-Asi, or his name was Sa'id ibn al-Asi, one of the two. فوهبني لرجل من هذيل بمصر, and he gave me as a gift to a Hudayli man in Egypt. And this man in Egypt, this Hudayli man, he says, فَأَنْعَمَ عَلَيَّ بِهَا, he blessed me, he was very kind and very generous to me. Regardless whether it means he manumitted him and made him a free man, or whether he treated him kindly as his slave and as his servant. Okay? Perhaps he manumitted him as well. So he says he blessed me therein in Egypt. So I didn't leave Egypt until I thought that there was nothing of knowledge that I could possibly come across except that I already got it. I mastered it already. Khalas, there's nothing for me to get in Egypt. And this shows that in most cases he actually manumitted him, he freed him, whereas he traveled. He then says, and then when I went to Medina, I sat there, and when I left Medina, I said the same thing. There's no knowledge in Medina that I haven't obtained, I haven't mastered. He says, and I left Medina. Then I met Sha'bi, as we said from the Kibar of the ulama of the Tabi'een. I met a Sha'bi, فَلَمْ أَرَ مِثْلَهُ, and I didn't see anything like him. Meaning everything that I thought I knew was nothing anymore. He totally trumped all of the ilm that I thought I had obtained from Egypt, from Medina, from this place and from that place. This athar is a beautiful athar. It shows and teaches us many, many things. The main point is the virtue of Ash-Sha'bi rahimahullah. And we read these different stories, these romantic stories of this alim and that scholar and this imam and this muhaddith. For what purpose? For the purpose of inspiration. For the purpose of aspiring. Let's be like them. Let's adopt their way. Let's mimic them. Let's try to be like that. Let's try to be like that. Okay, we don't just read these athar just to romanticize and just to put these people on the scale and say, oh, and look back and oh, and that's it. No, that's wrong. We read these athar to learn, to benefit, and to imitate, and for us to have the aspirations to do that and to get what they got. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, as a wise man once said, it is foolish to think that you cannot obtain what the masters have obtained. They were but humans and mortals, and so are you. So are you. So that's the main lesson from this athar. Okay? And as we said previously before about the people who are caught up with personality worship, and they are extreme zealots, and they're so fanatically caught up and so scientifically inaccurate and hypocritical, we said it's not conducive to ilm. It doesn't breed knowledge. No one comes from their ranks that's really learned, because it goes against trying and striving. Same applies to what they say today, there are no scholars in the West. There are no scholars in the West, period. All of these millions of Muslims and non-Muslims in the West, North America, South America, Central America, Canada, UK, all of these places, there are no scholars, period. Allah Azza wa Jal, He made these countries, these continents with countless human beings, and not one learned man lives among them. All of the scholars live in the Middle East. Okay, no problem. Perhaps this statement is right. North America, Central America, South America, the British, all, UK, Scotland, Ireland, etc. There are no scholars. Okay, I agree. No one's a scholar. Tayyib. But are we supposed to be pleased with this? Are we supposed to sit back and become complacent? Or are we not to attempt to produce scholars? And it may take 20 years. It may take 30 years. It may take 50 years. But let's try now. Instead of allowing another 20 years to go by and saying they're no scholars in the West. You understand? So this is one of the greatest tricks of the shaitan. If it's 2018, if you look how long Dawah Salafiyah has been in the United States, in Canada, and UK, obviously the people, they don't say that anymore. That's an outdated term that's been abrogated. There is no more Dawah Salafiyah. It's now just Salafiyah. It's been abridged now. It's just Salafiyah. How long has it been in the United States, in the UK, and in Canada? How long now? If it's 2018, roughly, not at 100%, to be exact, but let's say roughly what? Early 90s, mid 90s, for sure. 94, 95, 96, definitely. It was in America, on the East Coast. No doubt about that. 96, 97, 2000. So we're talking at least, if it's 2018, you're talking maybe 25 years. Easily, maybe 30 years. But let's say for sure 25 years. 25 years to be sure. So if there was someone who was in Birmingham or London or Manchester or Luton, or someone who was in Philadelphia or Newark, New Jersey, or Brooklyn, New York, and he was saying there are no scholars in the West. There's no such thing. Fulan isn't a scholar. This person from Egypt, this person from Azhar, no, he's an innovator. He's a Qutbi. He's not a scholar. Even if he's a deviant, does not mean he's still not a scholar. There's no scholars in the West. Scholars, period. Any brother who graduates, tries to establish his community and get the people to unite, no, it's tahazzub, it's shakhsiyah, it's partisanship. There's no scholars in the West. So if he said that in 1990, or 1992, or 1993, it's 2018. If that brother is even still around, if he's even still a Muslim today, if he's alive, if he's still practicing and seeking knowledge. Well, let's say he is. How many years have went by and there people are still saying the same thing? There are no scholars in the West. So how long does it take to produce a scholar? Let's ask ourselves a question. Does it take 28 years? If a brother was studying overseas in the 90s, he came back 92, 1990, and he kept studying and teaching, did he not become a scholar by now in 2018? They're saying the same thing. And another 10 years will go by, and another 20 years will go by, and they'll say the same thing. There are no scholars in the West. I.e., there will never be any scholars in the West according to us, nor do we want anyone to ever try and aspire to be a scholar in the West. And anyone who does, we will assassinate him and attack him and show him a great deal of hatred and enmity and try to bring him down for the reasons that Allah Azza wa Jal knows. So this is extremely dangerous. So this is why we read about Ibn Uthaymeen and Ibn Baz and Albani and Sheikh Muqbil, as far as to try to be like them and to walk their path and tread their path. Why did Sheikh Muqbil write all of those books? Why did Sheikh Albani write those books? Except to be read and studied. And what was Albani, rahimahullah, before he embarked upon the path? What was Sheikh Muqbil before he embarked upon the path? What did the people say in Yemen? Was there the Damaj? Was there a Sada before Sheikh Muqbil came? He had to do something. He had to establish something. But Sheikh Muqbil was Arab. Sheikh Albani was European. So it's a difference now. You're American. You're not Arab. You can't be a scholar. So it's very unfortunate that we read these athar and we still have these same poor, low aspirations. Moving forward. This athar also goes to show us, and it breaks the backs of the people who say that you cannot have any self-esteem, you can't have any type of self-confidence. All right? You walk the streets with your head low and tattered, dirty clothes and don't answer any questions. And he said, I went to Egypt. How many ulama were in Egypt in the time of the Tabi'een? He says, no, anything that I heard and came across, I thought that I had it. Shows that he had knowledge, and he knew the knowledge that Allah had given him. Okay, in Medina, the prophet city, how much knowledge was there? Living and walking and talking. And he said, I left Medina and I didn't think anyone had knowledge except that I heard it myself. Until I met a Shabi. And it also goes to show us the importance of respecting someone who's above you and giving the virtue and the station to those who deserve it. Okay? Khairan, inshaAllah. Last but not least, it also goes to show us the importance of kind treatment. And you never know who will take your flag and your banner. You never know who will succeed you. You never know who will become what they will become. Just plant the seeds, lay the seeds. Johnny Appleseed, he planted the seeds. Did he know how many apple trees were growing in the United States? but he threw the seeds down. So a slave, someone of low lineage, someone whose mother was, or in most cases, or could have been a concubine, someone whose father was killed or captured on the battlefield, sold into slavery and humiliation. Now, the hadith says that Allah Azza wa Jal, He wonders at a people who enter paradise in chains, meaning those who are captives as mushriks, and they're taken to the lands of the Muslims in chains, in ropes, as captives, as slaves, and they learn Islam and they become good Muslims. They become good Muslims. So you don't know who's going to benefit from you. It doesn't have to be a high-born prince, a royal prince, a warrior king, a warrior prince. It could be a slave that benefits from you and learns from you. And it also goes to show us a very important point with regards to the United States of America and with regards to black Americans. The term that I like to use, I don't like to use the word African American. I don't think that that is a correct or scientifically accurate term at all. I think it's a derogatory term and usage of the term to call someone an African American, and they've been living in America for 400 years. Their parents have been there for hundreds of years. At the end of the day, black people in America, African Americans, Negroes, whatever word or term you wish to use, oftentimes they're plagued by what we have just explained, that you can't become a scholar, you can't become learned because you're from the lineage of a slave. Many of them, if not most of them, okay? And this ideology is incorrect, as we clearly see. And as ulama explained, many of the tabi'een were mawali. Most of the scholars of hadith of the time of the tabi'een were mawali. Most of them used to be slaves. They were manumitted. They used to be slaves. Sa'id ibn Jubair, many names, go on and on and on. You'll find them. Mawla Bani Fulan. He was an ex-slave. And they became great ulama and fuqaha and muhaddithin. All right, despite their ethnicity and their background. So, and it's not just a black-white thing or an Arab and black thing. Don't think that. That's wrong. And that's another fallacy and inaccuracy of history. Slavery was not just based off of color, black and white. No. There were whites that were against slavery, and there were blacks that were for it. Okay? Don't think that. All right? There were African people that cooperated with the Atlantic slave trade, just like there were whites who were abolitionists and fought against it. So that's wrong, historically. Rather, slavery was an issue of nobility, of caste, of blood. Even if you're black, but you're not high-born status. And I am. So you're a slave and I'm not. Or you lost the battle. You're a captive and you're sold into slavery. Regardless of what they thought that how they would be treated. A slave in one country would be adopted into the family. He would be treated with honor and respect. He had an opportunity to make something out of himself. Not like someone that would be treated worse than a dog. At the end of the day, when I had to discuss the details of historical process of slavery, all right, what we're trying to say is that you may find someone from West Africa whose skin is as black as tar and his teeth are as white as snow. And he comes to New York, he comes to the Bronx or Philadelphia, and he looks down upon you. He talks about you and he holds you in utmost contempt for the purpose that you used to be a slave and you can't be anything. And you may find someone from Egypt or Palestine who shakes your hand, gives you a hug, allows you to sit and drink tea in his restaurant, and he teaches you Arabic and he helps you to go overseas. So knowledge is not based off of lineage or blood. It's based off of tawfiq from Allah and hard work. And just because you come from this background or a Christian family or that does not mean that you cannot be a scholar. As we can see in this athar. He was a slave and then he became a great alim to travel the different countries and experience the ilm that Allah Azza wa Jalla wanted him to experience. And this stigma or this black cloud that is over many young people that come to the deen, that want to practice the sunnah, that want to study, they don't even realize that it's been programmed in their heads. You cannot be a scholar because you're a black American. Whether it is said to them, whether that's the treatment that they get, or whether they've been programmed. And anyone who tries to break off those physical and metaphysical shackles, they slander and they bring him down as a crab in a barrel, unfortunately. And until the people get out of this mentality and break these chains, as Sheikh Yusuf said in Brooklyn, New York, he says, until they get off the plantation mentally, He says, He says, until they get off the plantation, I'm saying now, they'll always be of no value. They won't have any respect. They won't have anything. Their communities will be the same. And the people that get mad and they get upset, they say, oh, the Arabs are racist, or Somalis are racist. They're prejudiced against us. They don't respect our communities. They come in our communities. They take over our communities. They look down upon us in our masjids, etc. Okay, maybe they do. Maybe they don't. But have you given them a reason to respect you? Have you given them a reason to respect you? Overseas, how many years has the Islamic University of Medina been giving scholarships to Americans? The majority of the people who graduated, the most successful students, who are they? Where are they from? What have you done with it? What have you built? What have you established? What legacy have you made of your own? Give them a reason to respect you. Give them a reason to respect you. Okay, so it's very, very important. It's very dangerous. And Allah Azza wa Jalla surely knows best. We'll stop here. Wa sallallahu sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina wa imamina Muhammad.